Well, good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder, and this is BRN AM for Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020. And our top stories today, there will be at least 34 million fewer travelers this holiday season, and gas prices begin to surge. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Andrew Gross of AAA National. Andrew, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's always great. And look, we're getting ready to roll into the Christmas weekend. We've got Christmas coming up and then the New Year's. And based on the press release I saw and the information I saw from AAA, you all are expecting that there's going to be a decrease in the amount of travelers this holiday season. I guess this comes really as no surprise.
Right. It really doesn't. And it sort of follows on what we saw over Thanksgiving, where there was a decrease there. So we're looking at about 30% fewer people traveling. So that means maybe roughly 85 million people will travel. But compared to last year, that's a pretty steep drop off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is huge. And again, as I said in my opening, I mean, we're in the midst of this pandemic. It looks like the second, third, fourth wave. But yet people feel the urge, the need to travel. I would imagine, Andy, we've talked with you and your colleague, Jeanette McGee, in previous episodes, but there are some guidelines people should be following if they do elect to travel.
Right. Remember, it's always a personal decision whether you decide to travel or not. We tend to tell people follow the CDC guidelines, but if you absolutely have to travel, then do it as carefully as possible. And we know that 96% of the people who are planning to travel are going to do it by car because they realize they can control things a little better when they're in a car. They can decide who they're going to be in the vehicle with. They can decide when they're going to leave, the route they're going to take. They can plan things along the way. So the car gives them a little more comfort, so to speak, for this kind of year-end travel.
And it's kind of fun. I mean, I always think about, it's fun, I guess, in the scheme of things in the midst of a pandemic, but I think about European vacation or the movie Vacation. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that wacky and crazy, but it's nice to get out, see America if you're going to see mom and dad or your grandparents or just your brother and sister or a friend.
That's right. And we do know that most of the travel this year, as opposed to previous years, will be more family oriented. In previous years, year-end travel tended to be the destination vacation or the big trip, going to New York to see a show. We're not seeing that this year because basically people are looking at it and saying, where can we go? And if we get there, what are we going to do? And the answer invariably is nowhere or not much. So people are doing more of the family oriented trips and they're saving the big vacation until next year.
Yeah, hopefully we get back to things sooner rather than later. Andrew, in terms of, I was perusing the CDC guidelines, which were so nicely linked in the release that you all had put forth. And you just want to remind viewers out there that if you are planning to go visit family, nothing wrong with that as long as you take the proper precautions. But it's important to kind of have quarantined yourself for a period of days, right, before you go into another household, right? Because they may be family, but you may not be with them, have been with them for a period of time, and therefore, in a way, they're almost like strangers.
Yeah, that's an excellent point to make. Consider yourself already at risk and at risk to your family. So take a test before you go. Quarantine, don't go out too much before you leave. And then plan your route accordingly. So if you have to spend the night in a hotel, call ahead. Make sure that they have all sorts of the health protocols in place that make you feel comfortable. Pack water, pack snacks, limit the number of times you have to make stops. Bring along hand sanitizer, a couple of extra masks, particularly if you have those really good masks, but they're the paper kind. Invariably, the little band is going to break and you don't want to be stuck with a broken mask anywhere. So bring extra masks. Just really prepare and it'll make the whole trip a lot safer for everybody.
Yeah, and Andrew, when it comes to the hotels, you mentioned the hotel industry, people maybe spending the night in a hotel, and there's certainly things that they need to think about when they get to the hotel. But in general, how is the hotel? I know this isn't a business segment per se, but how are our friends in the hotel and travel industries doing in general with this pandemic?
Well, a lot of the hotels realize that this is life or death for them. They have to be clean and maintain proper health protocols. Because if word gets out there not, no one's going to stay there. But if you know you have to spend the night, do your due diligence. Make sure you call ahead. Find out what it is they're doing. If they have contactless check-in, that's fantastic. You can just check in on your phone and you can bypass going to the registration desk.
And also, when you get in that room, it's important to wipe things down. You should probably take, I don't know if they make bring your hand sanitizer, of course, so you can wash your hands, but maybe get some of those clean wipes.
Bring hand sanitizer. Treat it like you would any other place. If you're going to wipe things down. Go in the bathroom. Just do a thorough cleansing before you begin unpacking. You'll feel much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hope things kind of even out and we get back to a little bit more normal 2020. Andrew, I want to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about slightly rising gas prices and what's it mean for January and 2021. Well, you're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate copays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. Look, with the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Here's the bottom line. Call to get significant benefits at no additional cost and see if your zip code has coverage with the Give Back benefit. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-924-3920. That's 1-800-924-3920.
Welcome back. We're talking to Andrew Gross of AAA National. Andrew, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
So let's transition. I mean, we set it up perfectly. People may be out on the road, but 34 million Americans probably are not traveling compared to last year. But gas price is going to be important. If you hit the road, if you don't have an electric vehicle, you're going to need some gasoline, whether it's regular or premium. What can you tell us about gas prices? What can people expect for the next couple of weeks and maybe into January?
Well, we've seen a slight increase in gas prices, actually, very recently. Gas is now up to about $2.22 a gallon, which is a small increase. But compared to last year, it's still 33 cents cheaper than it was last year. Now, an interesting point, in a normal year, cheaper gas prices, that would encourage people to be hitting the road. We don't think that's going to happen this year. That shows you how COVID is changing the discussion for everything.
Yeah, I mean, people may, as you said, we said in the previous segment, people may be doing Zoom Christmas or Zoom holidays or Zoom New Year, or maybe just using the old-fashioned phone. Andrew, when it comes to 2021 in January, let's assume that we're going to have the status quo, which means we're still going through the virus. People are getting vaccinated. Eventually, we'll hit some level of normalcy, probably in June. Would you expect this increase to continue, or historically, what have we seen? I guess let's start there.
Well, historically it's tough because this pandemic has changed everything. It's just kind of rewritten the rules, particularly for the next, say, 6 months. So we think that this little spike we're experiencing now, that's really attributable to some maintenance issues going on at refineries and demand and of people driving on the road is still suppressed. So we think that gas prices are going to moderate a little bit and might slide back to from 222 to say 215 or even 214 in about a month. So this little slight spike will ease up in about 30 to 45 days.
And I guess I should have asked you this in the first segment. If you're planning to go out on the road, but maybe if you don't use your car very frequently, Andrew, it's really important to start the car up from time to time, right? If you're not driving to work, if you're working from home, if you've got it sitting out in the parking lot or in the parking garage or in your garage, it's really important to do regular maintenance and turn the key from time to time.
Jeffrey, that's an excellent point. A lot of folks may be working from home, and this car, if they say they're planning to go somewhere at this holiday season, this might be the first road trip their car has been on in 10 months. They may not have really paid much attention to their car at all. So what they need to do is check the tires, do the simple stuff, check the tires, make sure that they're properly inflated, check your windshield wiper fluid, check the wiper blades. The last thing you want to do is be peering through a smeary windshield in the middle of a sleet storm. So do those little things. And also ask yourself, how old is your battery? If the battery is 5 years old or older, might be time to change it because batteries will fail without warning. You just get in the car, you get that sickening click, click, click noise. You don't want that when you're on vacation somewhere. So let's just try and plan ahead and do a little prep work on your car.
And you certainly don't want that, Andrew, if it's snowing, if you're in the middle of blizzard conditions, if you're in the northern part of the United States. Also, if you're driving on slick conditions, you want to make sure you use check the tread on your tires. I know you had mentioned some of that, but there's the old trick with the Lincoln, the penny, right? You put the penny in the tread.
Yeah, use the quarter. And if you can see any part of George Washington's head, then it's time to change your tires.
And in terms of if I wanted to get my car serviced, AAA, there's a wealth of information. I should have asked this in terms of trip planning that people can find on the AAA website. But can you also find AAA, say I need to have my car towed or I needed to get maintenance, winterized. Can I go to the AAA website to do that?
You sure can, or you can download the AAA app, and it has triptych planning on there, and it also has there'll be a little button on it, not a button, but let me rephrase that. On the app, you will see, I need emergency road care. You hit that, and it is instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really a great feature.
Yeah, certainly. I think I put it right up there. I have called AAA numerous times. If my tire pops, I have an air leak in my tire, to come get me in the middle of nowhere. Really important to be able to look at travel plans and to do maintenance on your car. Back to gas prices for a second, Andrew. If this thing continues, which we expect it will, and it looks like we have a even more dangerous strain, at least in the UK. Maybe it's coming here to the US. What might we expect? Will we see gas prices continue to be relatively low, but over time maybe go up? I just want to kind of set the expectation for people who are saving, thinking about maybe taking a trip later in the year. I know you guys are going to be putting out some more bulletins and whatnot.
Yeah, it's interesting, but with these new strains, there's a lot of schools of thought on it. You have some folks who are really, really worried about these new strains, and other folks are saying that this is sort of typical for viruses and that they do mutate a little bit, but that the vaccine will take care of these mutations. it's sort of wait and see, to be perfectly honest. And we're just at the very beginning of the vaccine rollout anyway. Just a few people have gotten it, and only those folks have gotten just the first dose. So when it comes to what we foresee this having an effect on gas prices, probably for the next 6 months, road travel and demand is still going to be suppressed. We just don't see people hitting the road that much for the next 6 months. So that will probably have an effect on gas prices and keep them relatively low.
Yep. Gas prices, airlines, travel industry, cruises. I mean, all these businesses negatively impacted. It's absolutely heartbreaking for people in those businesses who might have small or large businesses and the employees that work there. Andrew, always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I want to wish you and your family a very happy holiday and a happy new year. And we look forward to having you back on the program in January.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It was a pleasure to be here.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest or someone you think we should talk to, then drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in retirement, markets, technology, personal finance, so much more, check out our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. We'll be taking a day off tomorrow, but don't worry, we've got a very special best of episode. You're going to want to check it out. And then we're back again on Saturday for our BRN Weekly, our retrospective, where we take a look back at our best segments of the week. So until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.